through! Blow through!
So many of them!
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn. Before we get to today's deck, I just want to give a huge shout out to my patrons over at patreon.com. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, and I am eternally grateful. That's Yuck Fuzi, Noah Vincent, Brittany, and Bob Steele at the Brew Crew Elite level. And then, of course, at the sponsored partner level, Terrence Warbach. You guys have been amazing. If anybody else out there wants to support the channel and join in on that, that's patreon.com/quarantinedcapricorn. Now, today's deck is called YOTIAN SKYBLAZER, and this is version 3.0 of a Boros Artifact Matters aggro deck that I've been brewing for, I don't know, maybe the last year. I think this is the most up-to-date and the most evolved version of the deck, and it's also worth noting that this is very much a budget deck. There's only 3 rares in the whole deck, other than some dual lands that are also rares. And those rares can easily be replaced with some other cards. So if you're looking for a way to rank up on the ladder super quick, without having to crank a bunch of wild cards or spend a bunch of money, this deck might be for you. Now, before we get to the deck, make sure you like the video if you find any value in today's video. That way we can help get it out to as many people as possible and help the channel grow. Also, make sure to subscribe so you never miss one of my deck tech uploads. And also, if you'd like to check me out live behind the scenes, I stream live Monday through Friday over at twitch.tv/quarantinedcapricorn, because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. And now let's check out the deck. Alright, so I'm super proud of this deck. I feel like a proud papa every time I make a new version of it, but this deck gets crazy results for being a mostly budget deck. It's kind of surreal, to be completely honest. But we're going to talk about the new cards first, and then we'll briefly go over the cards that carry over from the old version. So first off, we're running 1 copy of Nalaar, Consul of Revival. This is 1 white and 1 red for a 2/3 legendary human artificer. All Thopters you control have haste, which is a little bit of extra value in a deck like this, and whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, you create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Now, I've considered going up to 2 copies of this possibly because it's really good in this deck, but we don't ever really want to be stuck with a second copy of a legendary creature in our hand, and also we want as many artifacts as possible in this deck to trigger some of our Artifact Matters synergies. For those of you who haven't seen this deck before, it's all about just vomiting out an entire hand worth of artifacts, getting a ton of value out of it, and then just swinging in for the win out of nowhere, usually with something with evasion that just gets pumped up by Michiko's Reign of Truth, but there's a lot of other subtle ways to kind of get in there and close out the game as well. But Nalaar giving us Thopters every time we play a card from exile, and those Thopters having haste, and then there's some other cards in the deck that also can create Thopters under the right circumstances, and they'll also get haste, along with just being a 2/3 for 2, which is fine in an aggro deck as well. One of these, I think, fits really well and adds a lot of value, especially when you consider we're going wide with Thopter tokens with it, so that that Michiko's Reign of Truth later in the game can have even more payoff. How are we triggering this? We've got 4 copies of Experimental Synthesizer and 4 copies of Mishra's Research Desk. Now, both of these are artifacts. They're going to trigger our Artifacts Matters synergies. They're going to help us go wide with artifacts on the field, again, for the Michiko's Reign of Truth that I keep talking about. But what's important to note about these, it might seem at first glance like only having 8 spells in the whole deck that allow you to play something from exile might not be enough to trigger to Nalaar consistently enough. But really, each of these cards can play something from exile twice, not just once. So all you really need to do is get one of these 8 cards online, and you're going to get 2 triggers off Paya Nalaar, unless they prioritize removing Paya Nalaar. And if they do that, then they're not taking out your bigger threats instead. So it's kind of like a screwed if they do, screwed if they don't. So having one copy of Paya Nalaar, along with these playsets of Experimental Synthesizer and Mishra's Research Desk to just get tons of value and tons of card advantage, is, I think, a really solid inclusion. The other new card in this version of the deck is High-Speed Hoverbike. Now, this isn't a new card per se, but it's definitely a card that's been overlooked in the past, and I think it actually fits super perfect here. Now, the main goal of the deck is to just, like I said, go wide with artifacts. We're going to try and ramp off the artifacts with a ton of +1/+1 bonuses with Michiko's Reign of Truth. Off of a huge board of artifacts, we can just get +9/+9, +11/+11, whatever the case may be. And most of the time, we're trying to just bury that on top of a flying creature or a creature with some other type of evasion, so that we can just out of nowhere kill our opponent, even if they're at half health or even more sometimes. You know, we can get in some damage in the early game and then out of nowhere just close it out. And we can do that even better with High-Speed Hoverbike, because we can crew it. It's a 2/2 flyer, and then we can pile on the triggers from Michiko's Reign of Truth, make it much bigger, and swing in for the kill. This goes alongside the Yotia Declares Wars, which at Chapter 1 makes an 0/2 Thopter, which can then later get the +1/+1s from Michiko's Reign of Truth and swing in for a bunch of damage as well. Or on Chapter 3, we can turn any artifact into a 4/4 until end of turn. So we can either turn our 0/2 Thopter that already has flying into a 4/4 and swing in for 4 in the air, or if we want, we can turn the High-Speed Hoverbike into a 4/4 without even having to crew it, and then swing in for 4 in the air with that. Not only that, but the High-Speed Hoverbike is an artifact. It's going to trigger all of our artifact synergies, and when it comes into play, it also acts as pseudo removal. We can play it on their turn, trigger our artifact synergies, tap down a thing that they're going to attack with. They don't get to attack, which helps us race them. And then on our turn, they also don't get to block with that creature because it's still tapped. And meanwhile, we get to crew the High-Speed Hoverbike, sometimes even beef it up with some of our other cards, and swing in with higher power and just get in for evasive damage. And a lot of times it's enough to close out the game. So there's a lot of versatility and value in the Hoverbike. And I think it's the perfect card for this deck, because a lot of times all we need is just that one evasive creature that we can pile some +1/+1s on to close out the game. And without quite enough flyers or evasive creatures, sometimes that's just the only piece of the equation that we're missing. So having these 3 copies of High-Speed Hoverbike to kind of add into the mix with the rest of our evasive creatures is enough to really kind of put the deck over the top and accentuate all of the synergies that we're trying to pull off. So let's start at the bottom of the curve and talk about what the deck's trying to do from turn 1. We've got 1 copy of Skrelv because it counts as an artifact, will trigger our artifact synergies, and it will protect our board while we're trying to set up, but it will also, on a key turn where we're just trying to close out the game, probably let one of our creatures swing in unblockable and just get in for the Alpha Strike and finish the game. So it's got dual purposes here, all while also triggering our artifact synergies. So it's kind of a complete package. We've also got 4 Swooping Lookouts. 1 mana for a 1/2 Flying Vigilance that counts as an artifact is going to play into exactly what this deck is trying to do very well. We've got 4 Goldhounds for the same reason. 1/1 First Strike Menace for 1 mana counts as an artifact, triggers our artifact synergies. But again, we can pile on +1/+1s from Michiko's Reign of Truth, or, you know, turn it into a 4/4 with Yotia Declares War and swing in for a bunch of damage. And a lot of times it's hard for them to block this. If they only have 1 blocker, we get through and they can't block it. Sometimes even if they have 2, the first strike, if we buff it up into a 4/4 or use the Reign of Truth to make it like a 9/9, they have to block with 2 creatures, and we're probably killing them both, or at least killing one of them with first strike, and then the other one's not big enough to crack back and kill the Goldhound. So there's a lot of value to be had there, on top of the fact that we can sack this at any time to add more mana to our pool if we need to get off that crucial play that we're 1 mana short of. We've also got one copy of Eater of Virtue. It's legendary. This is one of only 3 non-land rares in the whole deck. We only run one because it is legendary, but it's going to buff up our dude that we attach it to, +2/+0 for only 1 mana to equip. But more importantly, whenever a creature dies that it's equipped to, we exile that creature under Eater of Virtue, and now Eater of Virtue also gives whatever keywords that creature had. So for this deck, it's perfect because we have 4 Goldhounds that it'll give First Strike and Menace to the Eater of Virtue, and we can just equip the Eater of Virtue and then sack the Goldhound on our own terms to generate mana, and then the Goldhound will get exiled under the Eater of Virtue. So having that amount of control over when and how we do that kind of makes it pretty crazy. Same situation with Swooping Lookout. We can't sacrifice the Swooping Lookout whenever we want, but it is a 1/2 with Flying and Vigilance. So if it dies while the Eater of Virtue is equipped to it, Eater of Virtue will now give Flying and Vigilance to whatever we equip it to next, which is really awesome. We've also got 4 copies of Kumano Faces Kakkazan. This comes down, deals a little extra damage. On 2, we'll put a counter on the next thing that we play, and then on 3 becomes another creature that helps us swing in 4 more damage. But what's also important to note, even though this isn't an artifact, it is an enchantment, so it's going to count towards our Michiko's Reign of Truth. And that's the thing that's worth noting. Everything in this deck is either an enchantment or an artifact, so that it all counts towards Michiko's Reign of Truth. And a lot of things give us both an artifact and an enchantment, such as the Yotia Declares War on Chapter 1 can give us the Thopter, and the Yotia Declares War itself is an enchantment. So that's 2 permanents that are both going to count for Michiko's Reign of Truth out of just playing one Yotia Declares War, which is awesome. But the key card to play after Kumano Faces Kakkazan is Patchwork Automaton. If this comes down on 2 with Ward 2, a lot of times your opponent just can't deal with it. By the time they can cast a Shock or a Cut Down for a total of 3 mana with the Ward 2 to kill this, a lot of times we've already made it a 3/3 by playing another 2 artifacts, and now those spells can't touch it. And then by the time they can cast a Lightning Strike on it, now it's a 4/4 or a 5/5. So it keeps outpacing the removal that can target it, and it's really hard for them to deal with it. And being able to play this on 2 after a turn 1 Kumano Faces Kakkazan, so it comes down with Ward 2 on turn 2 as already a 2/2, getting kind of a head start with an extra counter, can be really, really crazy. And this can just close out games really quick without even needing the evasion or the Michiko's Reign of Truth sometimes in certain situations. We've also got 1 Rabbit Battery, because if we happen to get this on the field, it can provide a lot of value by giving haste to whatever we want. It counts as an artifact for just 1 mana for our artifact synergies. It can swing in immediately when we play it. But where this really shines is if we have it on the field and our Michiko's Reign of Truth flips into Portrait of Michiko on Chapter 3, we can immediately equip the Rabbit Battery and swing in with a giant Portrait of Michiko with haste. And that a lot of times can end the game outright as well. We've only got 1 copy because extra copies of this are redundant, and we're trying to fit in as much value into this deck as possible. So just the 1 I think is super valuable if we get it, but we don't really want to waste extra slots on the chance that, you know, we might have extra copies in our hand that aren't nearly as useful as the first copy. In a similar fashion, we've got 1 Reinforced Ronin, because this can come down, swing for 2 damage with haste, counts as an artifact, and it comes back to our hands, so we can just keep replaying it over and over and over and keep getting triggers on the automaton so that the automaton gets bigger every turn, and it can provide a lot of value over time. And then eventually, when we don't have a use for it anymore, maybe our opponent has blockers, maybe they've dealt with the automaton, whatever the case may be, we can cycle it away and get 1 card closer, 1 turn closer to something really valuable like a Michiko's Reign of Truth that will help us close out the game. We've also got 2 Voltage Surges. Now this works together with our 4 Yotia Declares War as kind of like a 6-card package of hard removal. Yotia Declares War on Chapter 2 can tap any number of artifacts to deal that much damage to a creature or planeswalker. And in a deck like this, we go so wide with artifacts so quick that we can kind of kill anything with a well-timed Chapter 2. But 2 copies of Voltage Surge to kind of augment that, as more removal can do 2 damage to something for just 1 mana on curve. But if we absolutely need to, we can sack one of our artifacts to do 4 damage to something instead. And having those 6 cards together as a package means on average we have 1 in every 10 cards, which means even if we're on the play, we're probably going to get at least one of those pieces of removal by turn 4 when we've seen at least 10 cards into our deck. That's pretty much the deck. I kind of rambled for a while there, but most of this is just like the old version. We spent a lot of time nailing down a very consistent deck list for this deck, but I do think the inclusions of the High-Speed Hoverbikes and the one Paya Nalaar is absolutely worth using, and provides a lot of extra value and extra ways to get that evasion that sometimes we're just missing. With the old version, we only had like the Swooping Lookouts and the Thopters from Yotia Declares War, and it always felt like we were just one flyer away from being able to close out the game. Now we don't have that problem with 3 High-Speed Hoverbikes and a Paya Nalaar that can just poop out flying tokens left and right. So I think this version is even better. It absolutely dominates the early ranked ladder and probably does a pretty decent job in later tiers of the ranked ladder as well, I would assume. In the mana base, we've got 4 mountains, 1 plains, 1 Eiganjo, 1 Sokenzan, 4 of each of the rare Boros dual lands, Battlefield Forge and Sundown Pass, 1 Thran Portal as sort of a 9th Boros dual land, 1 Mycosynth Gardens, because there is some edge value sometimes in being able to copy one of our artifacts, and then 1 Mirrex, because it can poop out a 1/1 artifact token every turn, which works with our artifact synergies, and can sometimes help us with getting that little bit of extra value to just get there and close out a game when we're out of gas. So this mana base can completely be retooled, and you can turn this into a 100% budget deck very easily. You can replace these dual lands with some of the common or uncommon dual lands. You can replace Paya Nalaar, Eater of Virtue, and Skrelv as the only 3 rares in the whole deck, with just, you know, a 4th High-Speed Hoverbike and a couple more Voltage Surges, and this deck will still be very effective on the ladder. So if you're looking for a budget brew, a way to just crank through the ladder pretty consistently with pretty fast games without doing something boring like just playing mono red, this deck is probably for you, and I highly suggest it. You'll see why when you check out the games. So without further ado, let's check them out as well. This looks perfect. We'll keep it. We go Kumano on 1. This is such a hard curve to deal with. Automaton on 2, getting the counter from Kumano. It's got Ward 2, so they like literally can't remove it this turn. If they have something that can kill it for 1 mana, they can next turn, but they have to use their whole turn to do it. And we've got a Kumano that can swing in. So it's kind of wild. Do we try and hit a land with a synthesizer? I think we do. We might get some bad luck here, but we're gonna try. Hey, there we go. There's a lot we could do right now. A lot. Let's play it safe. She'll probably discard a card to deal with the Kumano, which is fine. What's up, Vermantis? Welcome to the stream. You can't hit that with a Brutal Cathar. Vanguard. Not quite enough. Not quite enough. High-Speed Hoverbike. Huh. There's a lot of different ways we could run this. I'm gonna try to blow him out. Let's see what he does. We can drop the hoverbike at instant speed if we want. Nope, just gonna let it through. We'll go chapter 1, Yotia Declares War. And the turn. Probably crack the research desk. Ossification. It's gonna hit the Patchwork Automaton. Sure. He had to spend his entire turn doing that. What do you think? Come on in, the water is fine. It's gonna scry. Means he's not gonna be able to block. No blocks. I almost don't want to crack the research desk. I want it to be there for the Reign of Truth. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Just you. Kill the Skrelv. This might be enough to win. Very close. Very, very close. Get him to 1. 1 out of nowhere, guys. Why is Finn so hyper angry? Finn, you need to calm down, buddy. Alright, he's got lifelink, but not in the air. And we've got Yotia Declares War about to go off. And a high-speed hoverbike. So he's toast. We win. You lose, big guy. Good old hoverbike. Sealing the deal. Even if he had removal for the Thopter. He could have won with the hoverbike. I really want to like this. I guess I'll try it. Try it, bro. Red. Kumano faces Kakkazan. Kakkazan must be defeated. Do you understand? Okay, good. We're gonna play Swooping Lookout to get the counter. And then we're gonna play another Kumano faces Kakkazan. And our opponent scoops. Too fast for him. We'll keep this. Start with Sundown Pass. a very big. We need mana. Gotta take a chance here. There we go. Two. End turn. See, DJ knows. DJ knows what I'm talking about. His end. It's actually kind of good. Kumano for sure. Goldhound. We're gonna save one of the Goldhounds for next turn. And we're probably gonna Hoverbike. Good ol' Hoverbike. Six. Guess it's probably better to do this. Brew. Casey has cut down. Sure. That's fine. We have plenty of value on the field. We should be able to get there. We're slightly flooding, but it's not bad. Okay, now it's bad. Go for the throat, the etching, sure. Hit for 6, put you at 9. And the turn. We're gonna hold this Sundown Pass for now. Really? Really? So lame. Swing. He's gotta have removal for at least one of them, right? No, he doesn't. Alright, well, we might have lethal next turn. Weird. Yeah, we're really taking it to those go for the throats. Chandra Hope's Beacon. What you gonna do? Eh? It is, in fact, 2. Well, since we're gonna lose the Goldhound anyway. Go with Chandra. Man. We could swing in with 4 this turn with Yotia Declares War. and get him to 1. I think it's probably better to generate the value. Feels bad though. He could just top deck another Brotherhood's End and then we can't do shit. Try playing high on Nalaar. Swing 2. Got him down to 3. Good old Pie and Nalaar. Oh god. Well, he's not going to get shit from us. But he gave us Mishra's research desks. And then what does he get? A Tali. What's he gonna pick? If he was smart, he'd take a research desk just so we don't have it. Because there's nothing good for him here. Takes a Swooping Lookout, I guess, to block flyers or something. Takes the Chandra. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. See what we can get. Anything to kill the Swooping Lookout? No. Doesn't look it. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh wait, no, that won't work, because it's when it enters the battlefield. Oh. In the turn, he gave us those research desks. Exile the top 5. Just trying to find another breach. Rebuild, unleash. Just cast Tali. I mean, it's good, but I don't know if it's enough. It's what? Invasion of Zendikar? That's not gonna do it. We've got flyers. All we need is anything, and we've got a research desk to get there, so. Come on, baby. Thank you. Kaboomba. Welcome to Earth. That's what I call a close encounter.
It's all in the reflexes.
This is not great. But I'm crazy and I'm going to try it. Because we can Kumano on 1. If we don't hit a land, we can Synthesizer on 2 and hopefully hit a land. I think chances are decent enough. Synthesizer, come on, white source. No white source, no nothing. Alright, shouldn't have kept it. I was too greedy. But I mean, 3 Patchwork Automatons. How can I toss that back? You know? Can't believe it. One land in the top 10. One. Here's 7,000 grit sandpaper. Sick. What are you using it for? Alright, white. Automaton. We're a day late and $1 short, but it's something, damn it. If we top deck another land, we might actually have a chance. If we don't, probably too far behind at this point. I mean, even if we get the land, it's going to be a struggle, right? We've got one chance. If you had one shot, would you capture it? Do we kill the likeness, or do we kill the topiary stomper? Come on, land. Come on, land. Thank you. Take a chance. Does he have something at instant speed that can put 2 lands on the field so that he can block with the topiary stomper? He probably just has Wandering Emperor, which can't target the automaton. If he wants to waste it on the etching, that's probably good for us. Let's just swing. Alright, he has to pay the ward. It's not the worst ever. We have an artifact on the field that will count towards Michiko's Reign of Truth. Over. Kerplow. Rocco. Rocco's Modern Life. Rocco's Modern Life. You see how you feel. See how you feel about me swinging with the 7/7. It's gonna block it. Sick. Now we get to play our Eater of Virtue whenever we want and not give him food or anything. That's 6 land. Don't know why he'd immediately sack it though. It went away? Is it only until end of turn? Oh, it's only till the end of your next end step. I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, guess we'll do this. And then we'll go like this. Does he have a 3-mana spell that puts a land onto the field at instant speed? That's the question. Because we can hit for 12 right now. Guess we'll just swing. If he blocks, we can kill it with Yotia Declares War post-combat at least. Won't be the best, but won't be the worst either. Alright, chapter 1 of Yotia Declares War. We can kill the Stomper. We can give the Flyer a huge buff. Adding 2 color. 2 mana of any color. Color Z. I think the main thing with Invasion is Zendikar. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe it can fetch any land, not just a basic. I think it can fetch lands with a basic land type, although I could just be crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kill that. And good game. Smash! Out of nowhere! Budget dick with a budget deck. That should be the name of my channel. Budget Dick. This looks fine. We'll keep it. It's not great, but it's fine. Thran Portal for white. Swooping Lookout. Alright, I think I have a plan in place. I think we're going to Swooping Lookout Mishra's research desk. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's swing first. Next turn we'll lead with Synthesizer, and if we hit a land we'll play it, and if we don't we'll play the Sundown Pass, and then play whatever we hit. It kills the opponent very quickly. Think of it like a mono-red aggro deck, except it can come out of nowhere with a 9/9 flyer and just close out the game. I shouldn't have played the land. We'll just hold off on the Synthesizer until next turn, it's fine. Chapter 1. Swing in. It's surprisingly explosive. It nibbles, and then out of nowhere it just wins. Does he want to sweep the board? No? Tap any number. Tap you. Kill you. Play you. See what we hit. Another one. Okay, we'll play it. More artifacts is good. Land. We will swing for 3. If he's got Wandering Emperor, they've got Vigilance, so he can't really do anything about it. March of Wretched Sorrow, one of them. Sure. Goes back up 20. Goes down to 18. Play the Goldhound. In the turn. This is probably Orzhov control. Sunset Revelry. Doesn't gain life or draw cards, which is nice. Just gets 2 dudes that can't block. Alright, we're gonna crack the research desk. Just want a Michiko's Reign of Truth. That's all we want, man. That's it. Swing, swing, swing. Get in for 6. Play you. Play you. I'm really tempted to crack this synthesizer. But I'm gonna wait. Go ahead and swing in. He just wants to draw a card. We'll double block that with the first strikers. And take 2. Invasion of Innistrad. Interesting. Alright. We will play the High-Speed Hoverbike. Tap you. My turn. We've got another one. Alright, well, now we'll crack the synthesizer. Hit you. Play you. Crew you. Swing 4. And maybe win next turn? We are, what? Third of the way through our deck and haven't seen a Reign of Truth yet? We get a Reign of Truth, we just win. You can have it. It's fine. I'm gonna fly right over your head. Sunfall. That's kind of okay. He gets one token. We get to keep our hoverbike. It's not the end of the world. Let's crack this. Kumano faces Kakkazan. Hit for damage there. We'll play an Eater of Virtue. Oh, he's... I just realized he's gonna kill us. I'm a moron. The 11/11 swings and gets buffed by the wedding festivity and hits us for 12. I got too overzealous. Unless he doesn't realize it. He didn't realize it. Wow. Alright, we definitely have to hold up the hoverbike. Stop his jerk from being a jerk. We're gonna play it slow. Swing in the air. For 2. Put them at 3. Unless they use removal. Looks like they will. It's okay though. It is okay.
I am almost sad to see you go.
I can't play the hoverbike. I have to hold it for when he tries to swing with the token. So if he doesn't turn the token into a creature, I do not play the hoverbike.
Let your blade do the talking.
Trespasser, sure. Gotta hold up the hoverbike so the turn tries to win. We could kill one of the tokens, but it would mean we can't swing in this turn. Do it like this. Crack the synthesizer. I gotta trick him into alpha striking and then crack back, I think. I guess I got it right. I guess we're just gonna have to chump block the 11-11. Got 3 chump blockers. So unless he can wipe the board and have 2 mana left over to turn that token into a creature, he's not going to be able to kill us this turn. Next turn we get to swing for 6 in the air because of Yotia Declares War and the Eater of Virtue on the Thopter. Tricky game state for sure. He's going for it. No blocks. You son of a bitch. Doesn't matter. Well, he can't do that, right? Oh god, this is so close. I think we actually lose. Unless he's a moron. But it's so damn close. So close. But if either one of those tokens gets through, we're dead. No! Just swing with the 1. Fucker. So sad. Fucking wedding festivities, what got us. Hi, Izzy. I think we'll keep this. Play Swooping Lookout. And we'll just play Reign of Truth every single turn until we win. That's the plan. Standard is so weird. Can we do it? If we draw another land, it's going to be really over. Voltage Surge the Kami. No. Doesn't really work. We'll do it like this. Swing 6. You have one chance. You need to remove the lookout right now. You did it! Congratulations. That. We just have to not die this turn, and we're probably fine. Swing. Swing at me. Alright, I think we win. I'm pretty sure we win. 1, 2. Wait, do we win? Shit. I think we're one off. Has to block the portrait, and then he goes to 1. Problem is, if he has removal in the form of an enchantment, we just lose. He gets rid of the portrait and swings in. Okay, he didn't have it. He used up his ossification early. Sick. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.